Welcome to Poco News, your weekly search for most things Brawl Stars esports. In today's video, I'll be updating you on the news that came from Tuesday the 24th of February to Tuesday the 3rd of February 2026. For global news, I have that Brawl Cup tickets are out and the prices are these. Along with that, teams are disappointed in the game because they've had to play with and train with bugs. Now moving on to NA, where I have the surprising news that a player got kicked from their team and the officialization of the roster changes, along with a short update on Supremacy League, where the playoffs will be tonight. The player that got kicked from their team was Rafiki, who, after Vatic lost in the quarterfinals, they decided that they needed to make a change, and that change was Rafiki. He revealed it in a post on his Twitter that goes,
"God, I got dropped by my team. FA. NFL Grinders. Love y'all #1 soon."
I don't know what team he will join or what he's going to do during the rest of the year. As for Vatic, they replaced him with the Elevate player, Ducky. That is all I know of the situation for now. I will keep you updated in next week's video. Then, Zemp and Tyrant, who were playing with Ducky, got signed by Zoes, which is a Clash of Clans organization which has joined Brawl Stars. And in Supremacy League, the results were Group A, Team Electros and Tribe, with Team Electros being first seed. Then in Group B, Elevate will be first seed, with KDS being second seed. In Group C, second to Solan, and Thos and Nova all went 2-1. Nova is Squeezy, Diego, and Alianis. But because of the tiebreaker, Zeus, second, Solan were 2-1, and they were the first seed. Thos then were the second seed, and Nova third seed. And lastly, in Group D, STMN won because Vatic forfeited, leaving STMN in first seed and Vatic as second seed. And here you can see the playoffs bracket, which will be played today. Now moving on to EMEA, where Lena got kicked out of Navi. He said so himself on a post he made on Twitter. One of the reasons Navi did this is that Lena is no longer playing tanks. Along with that, because Novo decided that they would try out Meow, and if he played better or fit the game better than Enraged, then they would play with him. When Jero and Drage saw this and saw that Lena was no longer playing tanks, they decided to make trials with Enraged and Tomsy, and that is where the situation is currently at the moment. I will update you in the next week's video. Along with those roster changes, we have that Zero's ban got lifted and he will be able to play again. And then Remika, Dekai, and Zero got signed. Another team that signed was Only Realm, who signed Bogdan, Adria, and Dompe. Adria and Dompe are Spanish players and Bogdan is Romanian, along with their analyst Gileo and the Planor, who is their manager. Now on to South America. In South America, the first news is that Odyssey, which is a Clash Royale organization, has signed Soñadores. So Lipsin, Drew, and Magic and Bundy now have an org.
Region of South America West finished playing group stage and playoffs.
In Group C, Ice Frio Hielo beat Ianosis Esports to qualify. And after that, Ianosis made a couple of posts on Twitter, which no organization should make. They deleted the posts and apologized. I will link a video that covers it in more detail down below. And then in Group D, Dame Paleta FA won the group. but unfortunately, one of the players got banned, and therefore they forfeited their spot in the playoffs and lost automatically. Un Sueño Incompleto, who were the winners of Group A, played versus Dame Paleta, who forfeited, and then Zurita Gang played versus Ice Frio Hielo, who they beat 3-1. Then in the lower bracket semifinals, Ice Frio Hielo won because Dame Paleta forfeited. Quileo, the Spanish analyst for Only Realm, had a Twitter beef with the South American coach, Fanta, because of who had the responsibility of drafting and who won the sets after the drafts. Quileo did apologize after the messages with this translated post. Then Un Sueño Incompleto beat Zurita Gang 3-2 in a close series, and then in the lower bracket final, Zurita Gang beat Ice Frio Hielo 3-0. In the grand final, it looked like Zurita Gang would use a second life on Un Sueño Incompleto, but Un Sueño Incompleto managed to win 3-2, qualifying to World Cup as representatives for South America West. And the team that will be representing South America West at World Cup will be the players Todd, who is Chilean, XNCK, who is Peruvian, Anjus, who is Peruvian, and then their staff will be Prozy, the New Heights Gaming Peruvian player, and Paulo, the Peruvian manager. And lastly, East Asia. In East Asia, there was a couple of movements. Firstly, Fennel, the esports organization, has signed the roster of ABC, aka Achapi, Kenji, and IC, and they have also signed Luk, the German analyst, as their analyst. I will link Fennel's website with the post in the description. Then there's that Hiroshi and Walkthrough will be playing with Sargent in Southeast South Asia. And the result of that competition is X-Spark made it out of the group stage, and so did Team MM. Prime Bears, who also made it out of the group stage, along with Natare 6 Southeast Asia. And then in the qualifiers, Revenant X-Spark beat Natare 6 Southeast Asia 3-0 to qualify. Prime Bears beat Team MM to qualify, and Team MN beat Natare 6 East Asia to qualify. Then, along with the Southeast Asia, there was also the South Asia, where in South Asia, the teams that qualified were ABC, Nodetwal, Overthrow, and 77. Overthrow, then the qualified teams were ABC, Overthrow, and 77.
I also played this weekend, and these are the qualified teams for the Chinese monthly final.
So yeah, that was it for this week's news. I will see you in the next video. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe.